All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Up and In Show. We are here at Cards and Culture on the Purple Couch. Bear with us today because we are getting ready for the National. There will be some sound effects in the background, but we are running a collectible shop here and we're open for business, so that's part of it sometimes. But I am with a special guest. You guys may have seen her across our content with Cards and Culture, Culture Media. Abby Alonzo, thank you so much for being here.
What's up? I'm happy to be here, finally.
Abigail Alonzo.
No. No. Look, I told him that is only for when I'm in trouble, and I don't want to be in trouble right now. That is saved for my mother.
So
that
far,
is
you
the only
haven't been in
person that gets
trouble
to call me that.
Yeah, you haven't been in trouble with Cards and Culture,
Yet.
so that's good.
I've been here in shop for 2 days, so we'll see how that goes.
But I do remember the first time that we met was here on the Purple Couch.
Yes, it was.
You interviewed me. Were you working for Tiger TV?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I was in class. I think that was for class. I don't even think that was for Tiger TV.
Jaden Hills,
Jaden.
right? Yep.
I did a story on Jaden Hill, and I came to interview you. I was in sweatpants. I didn't want to come interview you. I had plans that night. I'm like, gosh, I have to go get this done. Walked in. Great interview, by the way. I think I still have it. Yeah, you killed it.
It was on camera. Great interview.
It was. I remember looking at all the equipment, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. This is so cool. Yeah, that was what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, maybe even longer than that. It was shit. Had to have been 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
So yeah, about 3 years ago. Something like that.
Full circle moment.
Yeah, I was just
here.
going to say full circle, yeah.
I was kneeling right there.
Yep.
I wasn't even on the couch. I was just kneeling here.
Yep.
Circle.
Full circle. But I think that's great because I want to introduce you. You've been doing some really great work for us over the last month or month and a half. But why don't you give our listeners a little introduction, minute and a half, 2 minutes max. That's where we drop it. I'm just kidding. But let our listeners know who you are, where you come from, your background, that kind of stuff. And then we'll get into what you'll be doing here with Cards and Culture.
I'm from New Orleans, Belle Chase specifically, West Bank. Shout out, if you know, you know. I graduated from LSU in 22 with majored in broadcast, specifically in sports, obviously. I guess how I got into this is funny. I'd put in my Twitter bio that I was going to be a future ESPN sports reporter.
Let's go.
This was just a Twitter bio. I was doing nothing of the sorts. And then I had an athlete reach out and say, hey, why don't you interview me?
Yeah.
Ended up doing an interview at the Sugar Bowl. It was absolutely horrific. It was so bad. I had no clue what I was doing. It was filmed on an iPhone. But my dad was like, just put it up. Who cares? Yep. You're 16.
Yeah.
Let's just go.
You're doing something.
Yeah. So he helped me build a website. I put that interview out. The athlete posted it, and I got 3,000 followers overnight.
Love it.
It blew up so much so that the Saints press box reached out. I ended up interning in the press box.
Love it.
Got some interviews with Marcus Davenport, Cam Jordan, and then it moved over to LSU. Cole Freeman was my first baseball interview, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have something here.
Yeah.
Let's just keep doing it. So I started doing my own interviews, and then VSN, which is a network that covers high school sports, actually covered me when I played softball. And after my last game, he walked up and he was like, hey, you're really good on camera. We would love to have you work for us. So I ended up sidelining. So it was a big snowball thing that just kind of led me into this industry. I was having 3 jobs at a time, covering as much as I could, doing it for Tiger TV and crossing paths with you.
Yep.
Moved out to Dallas, did some coverage of the NFL, and then decided I missed home a lot. So I quit my job. Funny thing is, the day I quit my job, he calls me the day after, and he's like, hey, I have an idea, just hear me out. I was like, ears are open. I have nothing else right now. Please spill.
I was so nervous too, reaching out to you because I'm like,
what?
But just because you got a job. I'm like, I don't know. If somebody was calling Joe and was like, yo, so I'm thinking about this thing, I'm starting this, I'd be like, the fuck are you?
Yeah, right.
So I don't know. That's why I wanted to be respectful. That's all, and just not poach you, but approach you, in the right way. That's it.
And who would have thought, right?
No,
you had no
perfect.
clue when you called me, and I was like,
no idea.
By the way, I actually don't have a job right now, so
I literally
very interested.
I ran in and told Joe, I was like, dude, this is crazy. Fate's everything that we're thinking is lining up the way that it's supposed to. I was like, this is crazy. So yeah, it was fate. Fate is fate. I don't know. That's weird how that stuff happens, but I believe in that and the way that things happen the way they're supposed to. So
the way that things are falling out, everything that we're planning on doing, I'm stoked. I know you are. I know everybody in this room is so excited about what we're about to do. It's just the getting there part,
yeah, exactly. And honestly, Joe and I talk about this all the time. It's sometimes we can't sleep because we're so excited, and it's it's actually, you just have to wait. Like, we have to wait till the next space, all these different things. It's like, oh God, it's all really exciting, but it's like, still have to take some time and do some stuff and things unfold. But yeah, it's all right there. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, we're really doubling down on the media side of things. It was always my vision with Cards and Culture when I first started this, that we would have a storytelling side of things, because I think things become valuable because of the meaning behind them. And that's really only done by good storytelling, meaningful, things that create value. And so I always knew there would be a media division of this. We tried it in the beginning and it didn't really work out because we didn't, we were learning new business and scaled it back a little bit. But now that we have the product side of things right, the collectible side of things right, we've done, a pretty good job creating brand equity. I think this is the right time to bring on the media stuff. So,
dude, the way that LSU, not just the sports, but the culture, you've got personalities on these teams that are getting national attention, not just from fans of LSU, but people who casually watch sports. And us being in Baton Rouge, I think it's now or never, and you just go full steam ahead. I think that's kind of what we're doing. It's
like a cheat code. Joe and I did a podcast the other day. I'm like, it's crazy that I have a collectible shop during this time. It's like probably the best time in LSU sports history that at least I can remember, think about. I know social media and phones and media, play a role in that and stuff, but it really is just a crazy, unique time. And if, like you said, it would feel dumb not to take advantage of this. I've been doing a podcast around this for 4 or 5 years, and we have the storytelling aspect of it. We have the location. We have the cool product. It might as well, it's time. So
I don't think you could write it up any better, to be completely honest.
So Abby will be doing some sports reporting. She'll be our main kind of face of our YouTube channel. Anything that has to do with sports content, Abby will kind of be heading over. She'll be helping with us on the production side of things. She'll help me produce a new podcast that we'll be doing in the fall called Beyond the Box. That'll be all about LSU baseball players by those who have played and coached, which will be a lot of fun. Abby's going to have her own show too. That'll be really cool. She's been doing great work on the Louisiana sports stuff. And we've even been toying around some ideas about a bets and breaks thing 2 times a week so she can learn a bit about sports gambling and collectibles and that kind of stuff.
You're going to teach me because I can get by. I am not an expert by any means.
I'm not an expert by any means.
I'm going to be learning with everyone watching as well.
That's part of it. That's good. But I think that's what I wanted to do with bets and breaks from the jump too, was I didn't want it to be this thing that, because in betting world, right, to create a brand or a community, you can do one of 2 things. You can create an entertainment value and be like, I'm placing bets that no one else in the world can place, and it's like this, you're staring at a $50,000 bet, or whatever. Or you can do the everyday, gambler thing of like, hey, if we're going to watch sports, let's make it a little bit more fun. Let's throw $10 on here, that kind of stuff. It's nothing crazy. It's things that, educate you about sports, but allow you to consume it in a way that makes it a little bit more fun and entertaining. And like I said, live gambling this year has made me care about baseball more than I ever have. Yeah. And LSU was pretty good this year, so that obviously helped.
That helped out a little bit.
All right, but I want to backtrack because, people have been seeing you on our pages and stuff, and I've actually had people reaching out and asking who you were, what you've been doing. So let's get into a little bit of who you are and your background and why I think, you're a right fit for us. But you talked about growing up, you played sports, right? Mm-hmm. Your family was big into that stuff and supported you. So talk to me a little bit about your athletic journey, playing throughout high school and that kind of stuff.
So my main sports were softball and volleyball. My dad had a thing. He was like, if you don't want to do chores, you're going to be playing sports year round. So, I went from softball practice to volleyball practice to fall ball to summer. We were never off, and I was playing soccer and basketball at the same time. It was a go, 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 which is probably why I am the way I am. I joke with them. I'm like, I literally have a 15-minute increment schedule of my days. My day is scheduled out in 15-minute increments because I like to stay busy, which is a little bit unhinged, but it is what it is. I think it comes from being so busy as a kid, and my dad just had us going all the time. Eventually, I weaned off just to play softball and volleyball. And I had thoughts about playing in college, and I was over it, had some bad experiences with coaches and just burnt out, ready to be done. But when I was young, I told my dad, I was like, I'm going to be the first NFL football, I'm going to be the first female NFL player. That is it. And he leaned into it for a couple years, and he was like, you can do whatever you want, baby. You just work hard and you can get there. when I was like 12, he was like, all right, we got to have a talk. Biologically, men are just bigger and stronger. Like, I don't think you'd be able to hold your own in shoulder pads. And I was like butthurt. Like, I used to go to practice. I had like a helmet. I was holding the play cards on the sidelines when he was coaching, holding dummies, running sprints. Like, I did all of it. And then he told me, he's like, it's not going to happen. So I figured, okay, if I can't play, I'm going to be as close to the game as I possibly can. And I think that love, and I'm talking about football, but just sports in general, comes from my dad. Because if you know my dad, he is like, eat, sleep, breathe football. Like fantasy, he's got like 6 different fantasy teams. The TV's up, there's monitors, like the phone, like it's a whole thing. And I think growing up around that has had a big influence on the way that I look at sports, and just being an athlete my entire life. There's something about being on a team and like the challenges that you face. I think your personal character comes from that. I think it's a pivotal part of development of kids, like playing sports. Like you learn so much that you can't learn on a field or on a court. And like, you have to go through the tough experiences and be on teams where you don't get along with your teammates, or you have a tough coach and stuff, and it teaches you how to get over that. My dad being so into football, Dad, I'm going to air you out. Sorry.
Let's go.
My dad had cancer when I was, I think, about 11 or 12. And he had, I think it was stage 4 lymphoma, Hodgkin's lymphoma. Gosh. And I was playing softball. They kind of didn't tell us. They told us Dad was having surgery. And my brother freaked out, and I was like, no, it's fine. It's surgery, whatever. And he got his spleen removed. Well, I was living with teammates. He missed my World Series, like he couldn't be there. And that was kind of upsetting for me as a kid. And then they came home and they were like, okay, Dad has cancer. Oh my God. And that was like world changing. Yeah. Because my dad's 6'4", 240, like huge guy. I never saw him cry. Yeah. And then he shrunk down in chemo. I mean, you lose a lot of weight. And I saw like Superman pretty much become very, very weak. And the only thing that he managed to do while he was going through chemo was get up and go coach football practice. Oh my God. And like he's told me multiple times, he's like, the only reason I got up out of bed was because of you and your brother and your mom and those kids on that team. Yeah. And he wasn't working, nothing, but he was going to practice 3 times a week and games on Saturdays. He had a skull cap on because he'd lost all his hair, and he was still managing to coach those kids. And I think that struck me. Even at a young age, I didn't realize why, but it's had such an influence on the way that I look at sports, because those kids still remember Coach Kurt. Like he had a huge influence on them as children, even though he was damn near dying. Yeah. Like I think it's so special to see coaches and athletes and just the moments that sports give you. And I think that's why I've dived into this realm in this industry so deeply, and I care about it. And the vision that you have, I think, kind of connects with everyone. Like if you have any sort of interest in anything when it comes to sports, whether it be storytelling or collectibles or something, like what we're going to do is going to connect with you. And I think that's so special. I really do.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for sharing that. No, that was you know, the love that you have for your dad, and obviously the impact that he's had on you is really amazing. So I always appreciate when I'm sitting on this couch and I get to learn about somebody for the, you know, something new about them, and see their emotion come out, see their feelings come out and all that stuff. So great job, Mr. Alonzo. You've done a great job. And obviously he's in remission. Everything is good. Great. Yeah. So
healthy.
Yeah. So what's that? 12 years ago, right? Yeah. Everything has been good. Yeah. All right. We love that. So that's awesome. So my next question was kind of going to be, who is an impact in your life? But I think that's pretty clear right there. Yeah.
I got to give it to my mom though, because
your mom's a baddie.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We need to dive into that.
Literally, my mom is the most badass woman I have ever met. And I know a lot of people say that about their moms, but like, I've had other people tell me that, like, your mom is somebody that, like, I want on my side. I do not want to cross. And I think that is such, like, I aspire to be that. She runs a construction company. She handles damn near 6 different things at a time. Yeah. And, like, even when my dad was, like, down for the count, like, she was getting it done, like, figured it out. And I think she's so fierce. I think that's the right word for it. And, like, selfless. It's a perfect mix of being fierce and selfless, I think. And that, like, my dad is the reason I'm doing what I want to do. My mom is who I want to be.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome. That's a good influence right there. I mean, that's fun. What about,
I'm lucky.
Is your brother older than you?
I'm a younger brother.
Younger?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. He and I,
Tight? No?
oh, yeah.
Okay.
So tight. But, like, I only grew up with one brother. I grew up with all boys pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, my family is majority guys, which kind of makes sense why I am the way I am and why I do what I do.
Yeah.
But me and my brother, like, we're tight now, but back in the day, man, I've got scars from him. And, like,
how far apart?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Not even, like, a little under 2 years. So we used to go at it, and he's a big guy.
I was just going to say, he's got to be big. Pops is big,
like
right?
6'1",
yeah.
and, like, my brother is big, plays rugby at Southeastern, like,
yeah.
But
and
that
he's
wasn't
tough because of
stopping
you.
me. Yeah,
yeah,
I
he's
think
tough
so.
because of you.
I want to
yeah.
say that. Aaron, you can fight me on this later. I want to say that because, I mean, we were, like, most siblings. If you have a brother, even if you're a girl, like, you probably fist fought your brother at some point. We used to go at it all the time, and we would get put in timeout in the hallway, or, like, phones were taken and stuff. But I've got some scars from him.
Yeah.
He's got some from me too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm definitely the reason he's tough. Don't let him tell you anything else.
Well, you were a football player growing up, so I'd imagine you would be like hitting him and stuff and be toughening him up.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
whatever.
Well, my dad was like, unless you are bleeding, throwing up, or dying, you're not crying. Like,
Right, yeah.
just figure it out, toughen up. Like, rub some dirt on it, kind of thing. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Tough family.
That family sounds awesome. I love that. But to me, that makes somebody, and that's where I'm like, I've known you for a couple months now, you know, and or really gotten to know you. I've known of you for a couple years now, but and followed you on social after that. So it's pretty cool. I've seen your journey a little bit, all the way to Dallas, and I've seen how what your family means to you. Going to ACDC, is that?
Oh
AC/DC
yeah, we saw.
concerts, right?
So we
Like, things
saw
like that.
Motley Crue over the summer. Yeah,
Motley
my dad loves rock and rolls. He put that in me too.
But you guys looked fucking cool. Like
Oh,
I was just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
your family looks awesome. Like I'm like, I want to hang out with you. I don't even like rock or nothing,
Yeah.
but I was like, I would hang out with them.
I'm a big family person. I feel like that's part of, like, the culture down here, though, because I moved to Dallas, and Dallas is wonderful. It's beautiful. It's huge. There's so much opportunity, but I was missing the family part of being down here, and not just my blood family, but, like, my friends and, like, the people I grew up with. Like, you don't realize the culture that Louisiana has until you leave, because I was ready to go. I was like, get me out of here. I need something different. Like, I grew up in New Orleans, went to school an hour and a half away. Like, I want to go do something else, be somewhere else. And then I got there and I was like, man, like, this is very different. Like, it's not the same. Like, I don't know how to explain it or how to put it into words, but the feeling that you have whenever you're here, and, like, the culture is just incredibly different and special.
No, I completely agree, and I'm glad you said that, because I have some family members that listen to my podcast and stuff, and the more that people say that, I think they're like, okay, I get it, I see it, right? Because I haven't lived in New Jersey in years, but that's what it is like, I could have moved back to Jersey, but the people here, the family, I don't know, that's what it is. It really is. And my family, unfortunately, you know, my mom and dad got divorced after I left for, you know, I was 22 years old, so I was playing pro ball already. So there wasn't as much to go home to, right? Like, it wasn't like I'm going home to my house and like where I grew up, my family's together. It's like we're all spread apart now. So it's like, that's what I love about Louisiana, is I feel like I have homes everywhere. Like all my best friends that I played ball with, I can go to their crib, you know, and like go eat with them. They invite me over. Even when they're not there, I'll go, you know? So that's the things that I love too.
That's like, it's people, you feel like you knew people that you just met. Like, there's something special down here. I'll be honest, I moved back to Dallas. I'm still paying rent in Dallas, like, but I'm living in New Orleans, but I got to come to Baton Rouge for work. I've had so many people say, hey, come crash. Give me keys, like, you can stay here. I've had, like, at least 7 people, like, offer to take me in, which I think that doesn't happen everywhere. And I'm not being biased. Like, I've gone other places, and the hospitality here is so different. It's so different.
So different. That's the people are like, oh, it was such a culture shock when you got down there, right? And I was like, yeah. It wasn't really because of the food, because I was a picky eater already. It wasn't the heat, because like I actually was looking forward to it. It was more just like people coming up to me and be like, Anthony, come on over. I want to take care of you. I'm like, I would look at my teammates and be like, what the fuck do they want from me? Like, what do I have to do for them? Why do I, like, if they cook me dinner, what am I gonna have to do like a week from now? Like, but that's the culture in Jersey. It was like, yeah, cool, you're asking me for this, but what am I gonna have to do for you? You know, like, and it's like, it's just a different mindset. You feel like somebody's trying to get up on you in Jersey in the north, and like the hustle mentality, and down here it's like, nah, we got enough, everybody eat, come on, you know. And I'm like, that's more the way that I am, and that I feel versus New Jersey, where it's like people are just like, get your own, look out for you, don't trust anybody, you know, like keep it in the family. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like you guys are, I don't know. So I love it. Yeah,
Settle
I'm like,
down.
I love the love.
Deep.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I want the love. I want to share food with people. I want to invite them over to my house, have strangers over. Like, that's the best part. So yeah, that's what I love about Louisiana too. I love that you said that.
I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I am going to ask you a question.
No, let's go.
I'm going to spin it. You said hustle culture, and I'm actually very curious on your thoughts on that. Like, I know this is completely off base.
Like
this is an introduction episode, but like,
this is who you are. This is good. You're asking.
I
You're
love to
challenging
ask
me
questions.
though too. Yeah.
It's a problem, but.
All right, I like it. What do you mean? From what perspective?
So like, we live in like, there's two sides to it. There's grind, like no sleep, no rest, like no excuses, and then there's give yourself grace. Like, where is the balance? Like, what is your?
I never knew the balance.
Okay.
Until maybe the last 5-10 years, honestly. Like, honestly, until I went to Korea, did I ever think, there's a balance of work life and things like that. I grew up, and again, I grew up from an Italian family, right? So my great-grandfather came over here, and he taught my grandfather, you work your ass off, you don't ask questions, you just do what you're told, and you put your head down and work because that's the only way you're going to make money here. That's the only way that you're going to survive in America, right? So that was passed down to him. So then he was a physical, like he dug ditches. He was a butcher. He had multiple jobs, you know, and he just always kind of instilled that in me and my dad to be like, hey, you can, as long as you work hard enough, you can do anything you want. And it's all about hard work, hard work, hard work. So to me, I think that's just a mindset up there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of immigrant lifestyle, you know, like, and it's heavy Italian, but so many people came over, you know, years back, and they just settled around New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, that kind of stuff. So it was very immigrant heavy, and that work life was the only thing they knew because that's how they had to survive. So I think that's just kind of ingrained in a lot of people up there. And there's that trust factor too of there wasn't a lot of money. So it's like, what are you trying to get from me? That kind of stuff. I have to level up before you level up so I can get the money first, right? And that's more of where I'm like, okay, I love that ingrained hard work into me, but it's not necessarily the mindset that I love having, the cutthroat mindset. I like sharing my shit. I like being like, let's win as a team. Let's all get to the top together. I don't need to beat you there. Like, I have more of an abundance mindset versus that, you know, like, I don't want to say hustler mindset, but it's just like, it's either me or you, you know.
Right.
It
doesn't need to be like that.
It doesn't need to be like that. So I think I just have more of a perspective when I went to Korea and like started understanding a little bit of different cultures and how people appreciated life differently and balance that way. And even in Asia, they work really hard, but there was a very much rest, relaxation, meditation, you know, things like that. And you're like, oh, okay, you can mix this in too, and still be successful, you know? So I think that's, you know, where it comes from. And like what I mean when I say hustler's mentality, it's just like, there's never not an opportunity to work or to go make a buck or to go do something. And that was kind of always ingrained in me. And even when I played ball too, my grandfather was just like, I know you got this baseball thing, but he's like, at any second, it can be taken away from you. You could be and outside digging ditches just like me. And I was just like, all right, Pops, I got you. You know, like I'm working, I'm doing it. He's like, you're the first Ranaudo. You know, like he would just go. And I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I'm just going to be the hardest worker. That's it. Like, and that's kind of what I tried to get known for in baseball was like, no one's going to outwork me. Like, if I'm going to lose, it's because you were better than me. It wasn't because you outworked me or anything along those lines, things that were in my control, you know?
I have a very similar mindset. Like, I grew up, you work your ass off. Like, that's it. There is no excuse. I'm not going to feel bad for you. We're not going to play the victim mentality kind of thing, which I appreciate because I think it's gotten me very far. I'm just now at 23 learning, like, okay, there is a time for rest. There is time to give yourself grace. And I used to have the mentality of like, I have to beat everyone else. Like, I have to be first. I have to be doing this. It's like a disgustingly competitive. Like, I am that way. I tell everyone I meet that I am disgustingly competitive. I'm working on it. It is disgusting because it comes out like in PE class in high school. I'm like humming dodgeballs at 8th graders' heads.
Hey, they shouldn't have been standing there.
They're crying and I'm sitting there like, you're out, move. Like,
get better.
I'm not mean, I swear.
You don't like it, play better.
Exactly. If we're playing, like, lock in, dude. It's PE, okay. Right now it's the Olympics. But anyway, but I had to like unlearn that of like, there's a seat for everyone at the table. Like, you don't have to, outwork others, but like not in a sense of like, I want to see you fail so I can win. Like, you know, their wins aren't your losses. Like, there's a seat for everybody. I'm just now coming to terms with that within the past like 3 years, you know?
No, when I was playing, it was the same, like that was my mindset too. And I think something that I learned after baseball, and again, I wish I learned this while I was playing, because in the minor leagues, right, like you're going up and yeah, we're all on the same team, but it's like, if you get called up, that means that I didn't get called up, motherfucker, and you're taking my money. So it's like, yeah, buddy, I'm pumped for you, but it's like,
right.
Like, who's getting called up? There's only one spot, right? All that stuff. So, but I think that if I had the perspective of like, I'm not competing with you, I'm competing with myself. I need to be the best version of myself. So it's more inner work of like, cool, what do I bring to the table? What am I good at? How do I excel in this? And how do I stay positive for myself? And when somebody else does something that has nothing to do with me, like I'm not competing with them. It's inner competition with myself and how to be the best version of myself. And that's where I think I got lost when I played ball, and things that I've carried over into business, right? It's real easy to look at the phone and be like, there's so many collectible shops that are doing this, doing 10 million a month, right? I'll get there. That's the same thing when I was playing baseball and I was the rookie and I was making 500 grand and I was looking at Clayton Kershaw, I was making 35 million, and I'm like, how do I get there? I want to be there yesterday, right? Motherfucker, if I just would have been patient, I probably would have been there. Not, like I would have had to gotten a lot better and shit, but that's what I'm saying is I think I've had that perspective now to learn and be like, cool, there's enough to go around for everybody. I just need to compete with myself and stop comparing myself to other people too. That's the thing.
How did you get to that spot though? Because it normally takes some sort of serious like event that humbles you or something for you to like reflect inwards and be like, okay, it's not that cutthroat. Like I don't need to be in competition with everyone else. Like it's me versus me. Like how do you get to that place or that mindset?
It's sad because I don't think it's practical advice for people or anything, but my experience was my whole life I worked my ass off to play baseball and all this stuff, right? And once I got to a certain level, I really just focused on not losing that versus being the best version of myself, competing with my right and all these things. I just was fearful that I was going to lose it or what people were going to think of me, whether I was going to be a bust. And guess what? All that shit came true. Like people said all the bad things. I was the bust. I didn't do all that stuff. And guess what? I'm sitting here. I'm happy. I'm successful. So I say that to say I had to have perspective. I had to fail at the thing that I was supposed to be so good at, just so I can have perspective on the other side. So I don't think most people have that luxury, but I think that's how life goes, right? Is in order to get to that mindset, I had to go through some shit and be on the other side to be like, oh, when I was playing baseball, I thought everybody was looking at every stat, every pitch I pitched. And then I got back here and I was like, wait, you guys don't care? You guys didn't even know I wasn't playing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just that mindset of like, oh my God, what I thought people thought in Baton Rouge versus when I'm retired and now I'm back here and people are seeing me on the streets and they're like, are you still playing? I'm like, what do you mean? You're not checking my stats every day? So I think little things like that, that had to humble me, right? Because I thought I was so important and so arrogant that everybody, or I was just trained that way and like thought that everybody cared about it. But then once I was done playing, I'm like, I don't even care about it. I don't check anybody's stats. Like, I don't care how Kevin Gosman, I mean, I do. I want him to do well because I care about him as a friend. But if he does bad, I'm not sitting here like, what a bust. Kevin didn't do it, Like, but that's what I thought in my head everybody was saying about me. And so I had to have that perspective afterwards to be like, no, nobody cares. Like, they care, but they don't care. They're all worried about themselves and their own lives and surviving and the same things that I was worried about, So it comes from a deep place of perspective and things like that. But I do apply it to business now, and I think it helps a lot, which is cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
You like how I switched the roles here? I told him before, I was like, I'm kind of nervous to be on the other end of the question asking.
Yeah, but this was all planned, actually. See how comfortable you are right now? You see how your body language changed? This whole interview just got a lot better.
I'm fine
so
now.
Actually, I flipped it on you. I was waiting for you to ask me questions.
Oh, is that what was happening?
And now we're going to wrap it up. We're done. I'm just kidding.
No,
I just really wanted a podcast about myself today. That's really what it was.
That's all right.
So.
I love asking questions. I've told you this before. I think it was my life's purpose just to ask as many questions as possible.
Well, great.
I don't
You're
know
a reporter,
why.
So that works
Oh,
out
I know.
well.
I'm showing everyone what you hired. I'm pretty good.
Yes.
Getting better.
What? I think you're awesome. I'm serious. I think what you've been doing so far, and all jokes aside, you've been killing it. And I love that,
Appreciate that.
You're going to have a creative avenue to do things your way, your style, that kind of stuff. So, and just this banter, I think, is what people are going to appreciate about you. When we get into that new space, and I keep saying that, guys, but we're looking at hopefully getting in a bigger space in Perkins Row here. But you're going to be able to give people an experience about sports and collectibles and cards and gambling, all this stuff that is just different, right? So your energy, the way you talk about sports, how passionate you are, all that stuff, it's fun.
I think that is probably what I'm most excited about. Yeah, to tell stories and to get the news out there and stuff, but like to be able to connect with the people that come in, or like even viewers. Like I want it to feel like we're having a conversation, or like you're invested in what's going on too. Like I like to pull people in, so hopefully I can do that.
I think you are. And when you get your own show, that's the thing that's going to be really cool. I think people are going to ask you questions, especially once you start going out to, the games and start getting reports and stuff like that. It'll be fun to ask people to ask questions that you can ask the coaches or whatever, however you want to do it. It'll be fun.
I think that's an awesome idea.
Yeah. What other ideas you got up your sleeve? I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Don't put me on the spot. There's all kinds of stuff.
All right, how about this? What are you looking forward to the most about being back in Louisiana, besides the family and friends and all of that stuff? But like, what's most exciting to you, especially coming on in a startup company where we're innovating and doing new stuff?
I know we just talked about hustle culture and like how it's not always healthy to like grind your ass off 24/7, but I think that this is a challenge. It is a challenge. Like, we have a big opportunity in front of us, but it's going to take a lot of work to get there. And I think that scares a lot of people. Like, a lot of people in my position would be like, too much work. It's all over the place.
Right.
Like, we can't figure it out. It's too big. I'm out. I'm like licking my lips, like ready to go. Like, and I know everyone in this room feels the same way. Like, I think that challenge and the work it's going to take is what I'm excited about, because I know the potential. You have explained this vision to me so many times, and I see it so clearly, and I get goosebumps when I talk about it. And when I try to explain it to other people, I can't, because I'm like word vomiting on how excited I am. I'm like, just wait. Like, but I think the process of building something from not necessarily the ground up, but we're pretty much at the beginning stages of what this vision could be. And I think that is what I'm most excited about, of like being able to help build something that could be so big and like touch so many different people, not just here, but across the country eventually.
I love it. I love that you pick up on that and that, your energy around it. Like, and that's why I think, again, I wanted a certain space in here, and when that wasn't available, I was like, I kind of like put it out of my mind. And it was Joe and the team members to be like, dude, we can do this. We got this. Let's do it. Like, this is the time. And I was like, it challenged me to be like, all right, let's fucking go. And I think that's always what I've wanted. I was like, I wanted a team that saw the vision, that knew the vision, that was invested on board. And also, like, I'm trying to set it up for you guys where you guys feel like you have a part, and like the things that you guys are putting energy into, you get rewarded on and things like that. So I think that's the most fun for me, is I feel like we have the right team, the right people that understand the vision and want to contribute to it, long term, which is awesome.
Again, this is my second day out here, but from
you've been working more than that.
But like here, and like the way that like I've watched people work and the way that we talk about what's going to happen and how we're going to get there, it's like nonstop. Like, we're just constantly, like, it's the type of people, iron sharpens iron, right? I feel like that is the team that you have put together. Just a whole bunch of people sharpening each other, feeding off of each other, encouraging each other. And that is how you get somewhere. Like, you're not going to do it by yourself. You probably could have. It would have been really difficult for you to get there by yourself.
And not as fun.
No,
honestly.
It's not fun. But I think you've put together the right people, all the pieces.
Thank you. I feel like we're getting there too, and we have the right pieces and the foundation. And like I said, I think everybody has their own little angle that they bring to the table. And to me, I love the point that we're getting to, that I don't have to be here at all times, and not from the sense of like I want to be away from here, but I think because you guys are that empowering, you guys know the vision, you guys know what you're supposed to do, and not what you're supposed to do, the things that you're passionate about, and it all contributes to the same goal. And so that's fun for me. And it's like little projects like Joe's podcast that he's been consistent on for a year. I'm excited to see how that comes to fruition for the second football season, right? Like, just little things like that. Maya's clothing brand, Jonah being a grading and card specialist, and we're going to shows and people know who he is, right? Like, little things like that. We're all bringing our little things to the table and like contributing to a really cool brand company, that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know. It's almost like every day is like a dream come true for me. I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't feel real, It's cool.
In a year, what do you want it to look like in a year?
You stole my. Look at this. I was literally gonna ask her something like that too. I was gonna ask you a little. I was gonna ask a little twist, a little.
You can ask me after, but I asked first.
A year from now. So that would be next summer. We'll be getting ready to go to the National. Jonah and I are leaving for the National Sports Cards Collectibles Convention today. So that would be next year. Next year, I would imagine we're getting ready to go to the National, and we've killed the player's dealer in the sense of like it is a nationally known brand in the sense of it's either a TV show or a streaming series or web series. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about a show that Culture Media is going to produce, where myself and Brad Wing and Jonah Smith, our card specialist, are going to go around to different cities throughout the country and meet up with we're going to start with former LSU athletes, but then we're going to graduate to other professional athletes, other college athletes, and we're going to pull up on them, and we're going to sit down and do a 5-10 minute convo, but we're also going to break cards, collectibles, give them something that is relevant to their city's sports and entertainment culture. We're going to talk with those athletes and hear what they love about the city, how that's like formed them as an athlete, as a person, and then we're going to go live it. We're going to go try stuff, in the city. We're going to eat food. We're going to travel to the cities and check out the sports museums, the collectibles, the culture, all that stuff. And I think that's going to be a huge thing for us.
Absolutely.
So I see that being a main thing. I see us having a bigger space in Perkins Row where it becomes a destination point for all things collectibles and sports fandom,
Yeah.
You have the full fan experience, whether you want a sports jersey, whether you want a hat, whether you want to watch a game, whether you just want to participate in the Pop-A-Shot tournament that we're doing, for a free hat, or a $100 prize or something like that.
Mikey Matuk was in here yesterday, and I think he called it like an adult playground.
Yeah.
I think that's what he called it. And I was like, yes,
that's exactly
awesome.
it. You can have a nice drink,
Yeah.
Perkins Row has talked about bringing in a Mexican margarita and taco bar. So I see
Sign me up.
a lot of things with them, tailgate events, drinking events, partnerships, that kind of stuff. So I just see us being a brand in this spot, and I see a year from now us having a destination point that people want to come watch games, they want to participate, do fun stuff, watch, win, redeem, and collect. Those are the 4 things that I'm kind of talking about, that location. And then I think Players Dealer becomes, a household name, and we're going to cool cities and doing fun stuff. That all leads back to the collectible shop.
Yeah.
And we have a freaking cool team that tells stories about this stuff, and we have events and invite people over and autograph signings. But I mean, that's where we talk about the idea gets so big, right?
Yes.
The possibilities are endless, but if we're going to keep it short, I think we're going to have a destination point that has endless possibilities to have a great fan experience, and we're going to have some cool content along the way that most people throughout the country know who we are. Saying it now on camera.
Good.
365 days to get it done. No pressure.
Yeah. No, now you have a deadline.
Yeah, exactly.
You did it to yourself.
You made me put it on camera. All right, you go. So what I was going to ask you was, you said that you see the vision, you understand it, you're excited about it. Where do you see us in 5 years?
5 years.
Yep.
Expanded past Baton Rouge, clearly.
Yep. Well, I just killed the 1 year plan, so you got to go on to
5
5
years. Yeah. I think you take everything that you just said and it grows exponentially. Like, it's right now it is a Baton Rouge thing, and we celebrate the culture here, but I think down the line you start doing that in other places where people in other cities can feel the same way that we feel about our culture here, but at Culture Media or whatever spot you have in different cities. And I think I get so excited, and it's so hard to put into words, but I think that's what it is. It's here for a little bit, and then once we figure out like the blueprint, like you said, Joe, I think it starts being copy pasted to other places, but they all have their different twists and specific to that location. And I think this becomes a little bit at least on the media side, I think towards a network kind of feel of
I love it. Yes.
You've got your Barstool, and Barstool is similar, and they have the big Barstool, and then they have Barstool specific to locations and schools and stuff. And I think that's kind of the route that we could take. And I think we see major success from that within the next 5 years. I really do.
I love it. She's on board.
And I told you, whenever I like said, I'll come join the team, it was more of, okay, this is my next step. Like, I'm not going to look past it right now, but this is my next step. And the more I'm around it and the more we talk and the more we start to draw things up and get excited, I'm like, this might be like the step.
Let's go.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, if this can pop off, then this is the step.
Let's make it happen, man. The media side of things, to me, we always talk about too, has like the true most potential, because that's just, there's no possibility. There's no cap on that, right? Eventually we're going to have too many stores or not be able to open up another store, that kind of stuff. And there's a cap on that stuff. But the media, the storytelling, I mean, that's forever. That's going to be there forever. And that's, to me, is what I think is the most exciting part. Like you said, we're a network, or somebody comes in and, wants the content that we're producing, and they'll help us, take it to that next level. It's going to be fun. Oh,
I'm so excited. Clearly, I have a huge, stupid grin on my face.
Yeah.
My cheeks are hurting a little bit.
I love it. Well, you've killed this interview, this podcast. Do you have anything else you want to leave the listeners with?
Stick around.
I love that.
And just stick around.
Watch.
Just watch. We can't sit here and explain everything that's about to happen, but I promise you, you're going to want to be a part of it.
Boom.
That's it.
Mic drop.